guys, if you're new here, my name is Sam and I make videos about makeup, chronic illness, and whatever I want. And today I want to talk about my Sephora sale cart, me shopping at Sephora in general. So in 2022, early 2022, I made a video about how I was not going to be shopping at Sephora except for things that only Sephora sells, like rare beauty. I cited a few reasons, a couple being poor customer service and poor customer reward system. I did keep that up and I barely shopped at Sephora at all in 2022 except for, like I said, the few things I couldn't get. So rare beauty, some hair dye for my brother, like Good Dye Young. I feel like there was like a couple other things. I think I got my Tatcha eye cream, etc. Now I'm going to get into why I'm going to be changing things in 2023. A lot of things have changed over the last year. How I consume and wear makeup, my makeup preferences, and just business practices of companies that I shop with. So I'll start with my own use of makeup and preferences and shopping preferences first and foremost, as that is really probably the biggest thing that's happening right now. So in the last year, I have really been focusing on finding what works best for me. My skin, which is textured from acne scarring, and I'm aging, so it's getting a little more mature. I'm getting more dry areas, just more fine lines, just things I didn't have to think of even like 2 years ago that are happening. I'm going to be 33 in 5 days. Obviously, as you age, things like that come up. Like I have little, like I obviously have these, but I have like little extra lines just because I have high cheekbones. So I have like more cheek here. My under eye just started to dry out. The eye cream helps, but I ran out, so it's like dry today. My forehead, I'm, sweating. You can see like they're not wrinkles per se, but they're fine lines just from my skin maturing and the moisture in it that exists naturally changing as well. So I have to implement products that are going to help me with that. Well, my favorite makeup product has always been and will always be eyeshadow. I am starting to utilize different things in makeup and appreciate them differently, especially regarding like base products as primers, skin prep, foundations, concealers, blushes, bronzers. I'm getting into contouring, which I only briefly did in the past. So there are a lot of things that are changing with how I'm liking to do makeup. I like different finishes and coverages for different looks. I like and need specific ingredients for the things that my skin is doing with time. And also just the texture and finish my skin is naturally. Like I'm incredibly acne prone. I'm sure that's not a surprise to you. You've noticed in most of my videos, but that plays a huge role in product I can use. And having maturing skin that is still incredibly acne prone adds a little bit of complication to the matter. As I explore formulas and seek out recommendations from content creators who have similar preferences and requirements to me, it has led me in multiple directions of testing things, especially towards high-end and luxury products. I do love drugstore items, but I've noticed it is, in my experience, catered more towards people who have smooth skin, who have very common undertones, and I have quite the opposite of both of those things. I'll start out that saying I recognize how hard it is to find foundation colors, period, for so many complexions, especially very deep complexions. And I understand that those groups also struggle with what I'm about to talk about with it, which is undertone problems. In deep foundation colors and concealer colors, they tend to go really warm, really red, and they tend to ignore neutral or olive undertones in darker complexions. And where I struggle is they completely ignore olive undertones in light, especially fair complexions. I have a very strange genetic mix-up when it comes to my skin colors. I will insert some pictures here of like how different my skin tones are from summer to winter, and also some swatches of the range of shades I have in foundation. I go from a fair leaning light muted yellow olive to a light medium golden olive, which is a huge span. And the issue is so many companies look at olive as a depth instead of an undertone. And so you'll find a lot of medium complexion products that are olive, but you won't find light or deep. It's totally neglected. Olive is very neglected, and I'm finding it's quite a common undertone. So luxury brands seem to have decided to cater to this slightly neglected, total spacing on what I want to say, neglected category of undertone, which has led me to trying a lot more higher end and luxury complexion products, whether it's bronzers because they're more neutral and yellow leaning, foundations because they actually have light or fair light olive undertones. They could still use to put fair in there for people who are even lighter than me, but my thing is, when I am in like the end of winter, we're talking like right now, I am fair. I'm not just light, I'm fair. I would say the largest chunk of the year I'm light, right in the middle. For the shortest amounts I'm fair and medium, or light medium I should say. But all of the time I have green undertones, and it seems that high-end and luxury are the only ones who are really catering to that. So I have been finding myself gravitating towards those types of brands. Another thing is lip products. I personally am just finding luxury lip products to be my personal favorite. I try quite a few other brands, either drugstore or even mid-range, and they're just too dry. An age thing, my lips are just dry. So I have like a Rare Beauty lipstick, and it's under this gloss. It just sticks to all my texture. It makes the lines really bad. But the Charlotte Tilbury, for example, it does not do that. It doesn't feel as drying. Like MAC, I know is not luxury, but I guess it's sort of like mid-range. Some of their lipstick finishes that I prefer, though, I would put at luxury pricing because they're $25. My favorite lip gloss formulas are high-end Pat McGrath, Victoria Beckham. I'm just finding that they're doing it first. It's not to say drugstore will never do it, but they're definitely doing it first. The other thing is, probably because with age comes more financial security in most instances, they cater to texture and mature skin a lot more as well. Like even Estee Lauder, which is more high-end than luxury, it has always looked so good on my forehead texture, and I find it worth spending the extra money than wasting money trying to find all of these drugstore products that aren't going to work because the colors aren't going to be right. I do have a drugstore foundation that I really like, but I can only use it when I have a tan, or else I look borderline offensive. I'm talking the foundation color is like this, which isn't going to work right now, you know. Moving on to business practice changes. Since I made the video, Ulta has become as guilty, in my opinion, of all of the things that I had an issue with regarding Sephora. The online customer service is absolutely atrocious. Ulta is currently dealing with huge amounts of loyalty theft, like people stealing in-person points, because while they're supposed to check ID, I guess some locations have not been, and online people are hacking accounts and just draining the point system, and some people are just struggling to get the points back because that is actual money for Ulta. As for rewards, yes, you get like, the cash back, but I, being a Diamond member, have not gotten a coupon for 20% off like I used to in 3 years, which my assumption is They're trying to target people who spend less money to incentivize them to spend more money. If they give me a 20% off coupon, they look at my sales history and know she's absolutely going to spend it, and she's probably going to make a very large purchase, which means we're going to lose money. Where if you're just incentivizing someone who would maybe spend $100, you're not going to lose as much. Also, they're just going to spend more at your store. I don't really like that, because to become diamond, you spend $1,200 in a calendar year, and for transparency purposes, I don't spend all of that myself. I use it to get Eric shampoo. My mom and my brother use it for their hair care and skincare items too, and we just kind of just all put it in my account because I shop there most frequently. But I have to regularly buy things to earn the points to get the money, obviously. However, it is a lot of full price purchases. Now, there are points multipliers, but those aren't predictable. The sales were predictable. The Ulta coupons were much like the Sephora sale, where you got them one in the fall, generally December, and one sometime in the spring. I don't remember exactly when, but it was sometime in the spring. I don't know when the point multipliers are coming, and I have curated my restocks to coincide with a sale at either like Ulta or Sephora. So I get my skincare and it lasts me until the next sale. I don't know when the point multipliers are, so it's kind of like, well, if I run out, am I just supposed to wait until maybe they do a points multiplier? It doesn't really work. Where I could spend $1,000 to be Rouge at Sephora and have 2 guaranteed sales, 20% where I'm able to shop before other people, so I can make sure I get the things that I want. Now, this isn't to say I won't shop at Ulta anymore. There are some things I can only get at Ulta. But it seems like right now, in this phase of where I'm at with beauty, a large portion of the things I'm using are going to be more of Sephora exclusive than available at Ulta. My other complaint with Ulta is they have been adding so many new brands, but they don't carry the full line or the full shade range. And I can't even curbside items because it's always out of stock in store, because they're keeping their same small building and cramming brand after brand. Things have just become end caps. I went to get my eye primer recently and they just didn't have it in store. They're like, well, this specific one doesn't sell very well, so it's online only. It's incredibly inconvenient and kind of irritating. Another thing I noticed is Ulta does sell drugstore, but I haven't been getting my drugstore products at Ulta unless they are, I don't know, like a Lottie London or something. They're not available at Target, because Ulta will often add $3 or $4 to like a drugstore mascara compared to a Walgreens or a Target. And it's like, sure, you get more points by spending more money, but honestly, I just don't want to spend more money. I don't personally see the value in spending more to have more points later that I can't use for a while because I have to save them all up. I'd rather just save money now, because I'm only shopping pretty much twice a year. So it doesn't really seem to benefit me as much as just a savings event, personally. Anyway, that's super long-winded. So now that I have explained my entire philosophy, I want to talk about what's currently in my Sephora cart. I'm not buying all of this because it's like $900. I'm not spending $900 at the Sephora sale. I just added everything to my cart that I am interested in, and we're gonna weed through it together. Some things are non-negotiable because there's a couple things that are gift for my mom for Mother's Day, and I'm not spoiling anything because she picked these things herself, but I wanted to get them while I could get them on sale. And some of the stuff I know for sure I'm getting, but like, let's just go through all of it together. Okay, so the first thing in my cart is a perfume sample set from Jo Malone. And this is literally after I just said I have a perfect perfume collection and it's curated and I don't want anything else. Again, it's not for sure I'm getting this, but like, it's in my cart. So is the mini Sakura Cherry Blossom / English Pear and Freesia set. I have never smelled either of these, and they sound very interesting, and I've only met one Jo Malone scent I don't like, and it was Snowdrop, Snow something. I liked the smell in the bottle, it just didn't smell good on me. So this is just in my cart because, like I said, I added everything that is interesting. So we'll go through the whole thing, and then let me scoot over so I can put pictures. We'll go through this whole thing, and then we'll narrow it down. The next is the Smashbox Studio Skin 24-hour oil-free Hydra Foundation. Couldn't get this on Smashbox's website because my shade 1.05 was sold out. So that is a for sure get. This next one is I'm like 98% sure I'm gonna for sure get it. And it is the Tom Ford Gloss Luxe Lip Gloss in the shade 08 Inhibition. I saw someone use this, and it's like the prettiest lip gloss shade I have ever seen. I spent 4 hours trying to find a dupe. The only one I haven't checked was Pat McGrath, but I've looked through all her glosses, and I don't recall seeing anything like this. There was it wasn't Wet n Wild. It was an e.l.f. one that is identical color-wise, but it's not very shiny. So it's more of like, I don't know, it's not a lip gloss, so it isn't shiny, and they're like discontinuing it anyway. I could not find it, or I would have started there. So now some of this stuff is also sold out, so I might have to go in person if my store has it, or I just might not be able to get it even if it's in my for sure. The next one is the RMS Beauty Redimension Hydra Powder Blush in the shade Mai Tai. Heard a lot of good things about their blushes. I'm wearing their highlighter today. I think it's technically a highlighter. I don't know what it is, but like, look at how natural that looks. I really like all the RMS products I've tried, and their blushes seem like just like a glowy powder blush, almost like those Cover FX like duos, like the shiny side of that in a sense. So I'm not 100% sure on those. This one is a restock just because I'm using it so much. The Danessa Myricks Beauty Yummy Skin Glow Serum with Hyaluronic Acid, the primer. This would just have a backup because I use it so much that I would rather get it on a discount before I run out. This next item I almost ordered from Smashbox, but because I didn't hit the shipping threshold, I would have paid the same price this would be with the discount at Sephora, and that is the Smashbox Halo Healthy Glow Tinted Moisturizer in the shade Light Olive. I'm looking for something like that is this lightness without fading for my everyday wear. So this is when it isn't 8 hours old, fuller coverage than I would want on just like a quick day where I'm just going to even my complexion out, throw on some mascara, and like do my brows. With a tinted moisturizer, I wouldn't have to do as much work, so I really want to get that. This next one I've seen a lot about, especially from like thin hair people who have like hair that falls flat really easy. The Orbe Dry Texturizing Spray. I have the mini one in my cart because, again, there's no reason to buy a big bottle unless I know. I guess this is a mixture of a texturizing spray and a dry shampoo, so it's like a 2-for-1 thing. I hear people rave about it a lot, but I'm not sure because I've also seen some people say it's heavy and leaves their hair greasy, and because my hair is not just thin, it's also just fine, like, follicles. So that's probably going to be one that's on the chopping block when we get down to it. Up next, none of these are in any kind of order. I wish they, like, sorted it as you added it and not willy-nilly, is the Patrick Ta Dual-Ended Complexion Brush. I have, like, a whole thing, like, with Patrick Ta. It's, like, I love it, but I'm very confused as to what's happening. The palette I had, the Major Dimensions 2, went moldy, and they did send me a new one, but I'm concerned like this one's also going to get moldy, and it's like, do these products just get mold? But I'm very interested in a couple of his complexion products, which you will see on here. Again, I don't know what all will be available by the time VIB gets access on the 18th, but my store seemed to still have a lot of stuff in stock, so might just have to pop in there. But this is just supposed to work amazing with all of his products. One size for powder, one size for cream. And even not just his products, because I use both powder and cream, I would like to just have that brush so I know it's like dedicated to those products. The next is the House Labs Color Fuse Talc Free Powder Blush with Fermented Arnica. I have it in the shade Watermelon Bliss. The reason this one is on the chopping block is I ordered the Alice in Wonderland ColourPop collection, and I think this looks incredibly similar to the Queen of Hearts. I don't remember what it's called. I think Silence. It looks very similar to that. The other House Labs blushes were pretty, but for me, I'm kind of in this bold blush phase. I have plenty of like peaches and whatnot. So when there's a bright color available, I tend to go there, or I go for an everyday one. But I have enough everyday powder blushes, so that could be on the chopping block. Next, Dior Backstage Face and Body Foundation. I just heard so many people rave about this. I guess this is like Meghan Markle's wedding day foundation, and if it's going to be a princess's wedding day foundation, it has to be good, right? So that's on here. This next one is a gift, so I'm not even going to put that on the list. Next, the Patrick Ta Major Dimensions Double Take Cream and Powder Blush in the shade She's Blushing. This looks like a perfect everyday blush for me. I feel like I would get a ton of use out of it. That's why I picked this one. There's another shade. Let me look because it looks absolutely gorgeous and I wanted it, but I'm like, listen, let's get one you would use every day. She's Vibrant, like this super bright pink. Oh my gosh, that one caught my eye. But I want to make sure I even like the product. I want to make sure it's not going to go moldy. So I want to get one that I would use every day. Up next would be a restock item, and it's a new Rare Beauty Perfect Strokes Volumizing Mascara. I only ever get mini mascaras because how frequently you have to replace them. I never finish a full-size tube. I wish drugstore would do mini sizes because I always end up having to throw out like half a tube of mascara. I love to switch up mascara based on looks because each mascara does something different. So depending on what I'm doing with my makeup, depends on which one that I'm using. I also just love to try new formulas. It's probably my most favorite thing to try. Next thing is the Patrick Ta Major Sculpt Cream Contour and Powder Bronzer Duo in She's Sculpt. Like I mentioned, I'm starting to get into contouring and I don't have any contour shades. Well, that's a lie. I have one contour shade, but it's a little too dark. So I just don't use it unless I'm just playing around. So because that's something I want to start adding in, I've heard great things about this as well. Oh, no wonder why the cart's so high. I have like double colors because I wasn't sure which color foundation I would be in some. This, if I can get my hands on it, Rare Beauty Positive Light Silky Touch Highlighter. I don't know which color. It would either be the first one or the second one. I'm not remembering the names. The one I have in my cart is the only one that's in stock, just so I didn't forget to talk about it, and it's for deep complexions. I've heard nothing but magical things. It's supposed to look like a slightly brighter version of this. It's supposed to just sink into your skin and look beautiful, and I don't care what anyone says. Highlighter will never stop being trendy for me. Up next is the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. I heard this is great for covering like this stuff. The only concealer shades I have are for under my eyes, so they're way too light. I heard that just this consistency sticks better to spots like that. I have in here the shade Madeline, but I'm not, or Madeline, I don't know how you would say that one specifically. I'm not 100% sure if that would be the right shade, but that is going to be where I start. The next item, another foundation, because I told you I'm in my base era. The NARS Light Reflecting Advanced Skincare Foundation in the shade Gobi. I'm pretty much the shade Gobi in everything complexion-wise. I don't have any NARS foundation because back when I was trying to figure out my skincare and get my moisture barrier under control, something was not agreeing with any of the NARS foundations I tried, and it would just separate. Now, I've heard that some people it just separates on, and so this just might not work out for me, so I'm considering just getting a sample of this and seeing what happens. The next item is the Rare Beauty Soft Pinch Liquid Blush. I picked the shade Hope for the same reason as I picked the Patrick Ta shade. This would be perfect for my everyday looks because when I do everyday makeup looks, it's pretty much this. And this color is the closest to the, what is the shade? Lipstick. Humble, which is pretty much a color dupe for Pillow Talk, which is mostly my go-to everyday kind of shade. Like, this is pretty much what I would be wearing on most days. So I thought that would be a great place to start by trying those blushes. Up next is the Shiseido this brand's eyelash curler. This has been in my wish list for Sephora for quite a while. My eyelash curler is very old and it doesn't really work well anymore because I found out you're supposed to change the pads once a year at least. And I changed the pad in mine 3 years ago. Yeah, so I heard this one is good for all eye shapes. And so I'm very curious now. The next item, I'm almost certain I'm going to remove every eyeshadow product off of here because I don't need eyeshadow. But the Kaja Eye Bento Bouncy Eyeshadow Trio in Forest Night. I'm in a cool tone phase when it comes to browns, and this just looks so pretty. This would be a contour item. The Rare Beauty Warm Wishes Effortless Bronzer Stick in the shade Good Energy. This looks very similar to the Patrick Ta one, but if I don't need 2 products, this would obviously be more affordable. Next up is Urban Decay 24/7 Moondust Eyeshadow in the color Solstice. I saw this over a black base, and it was the prettiest thing I've ever seen in my life, but I truly do not need any more eyeshadow right now, so maybe at the next sale, or if Urban Decay has a sale. Surprisingly, the last item is the Haus Labs PhD Hybrid Lip Oil. I saw a makeup chemist rank lip oils, and this was the one that won. And I really want one of 2 shades. Neither are available. I just have the one in here that was so I could talk about it. So let's look up the names of the ones that I actually want. So they're back in stock now. So I either want Secondary, the orange, or Hue. This one is still out of stock, which is the Sheer Berry. So let's narrow some stuff down. And I will say, I might get into a store and there might be something extra that I want. So I want this to be a very reasonable price basket in case there's something I swatch in person or see in person that I didn't notice on the website or in anyone's recommendation videos. So let's for sure get rid of that NARS foundation because I want a sample in case it separates. Let's get rid of this RMS blush because it just seems too similar to the Cover FX ones. Let's remove the Moondust eyeshadow. And then, was there another eyeshadow? Yeah, the Kaja ones. Let's take that off. Remove that dry texturizing spray because it's going to be summer. My hair is going to be up. Let me go through and pick out the things that are absolutely staying. So the Smashbox items, the Tom Ford is going to stay. This color, I've put a picture up here for you to see like how nice this color is. So I'm going to get for sure the primer because I use it every day. So the House Labs is only going to be a yes if I can get my hands on one of those two colors. If I can't, I'm not going to get another one to try the formula. I specifically want to try those two colors. So that's like a maybe. Let's go between the two contours. I'm a little worried that the powder is going to be too orange. It doesn't look yellow enough. Now, She's Statuesque is the right kind of powder color for me, but the contour shade looks too light. So let's remove the Patrick Ta. Remove this House Labs blush because I think the one I just got from ColourPop is at least very similar, if not exactly the same. So we don't need her. Now, it's between the Rare Beauty blush and the Patrick Ta blush. I think I'm going to pick Patrick Ta because I like, it's like you use the cream over powder and it just is really glowy, more glowy than the Rare Beauty. Now, I will get the Rare Beauty if for some reason this shade of the Patrick Ta is not available for me, which means I also want the brush. Remove this Jo Malone set because I have enough fragrances and I don't even know that I would like those scents. It sounds like I would, but I don't know, so it's gone. Goodbye. I'm going to keep the concealer. Did I say I was going to keep the concealer? Let's get rid of the Dior Face and Body because I'm getting the tinted moisturizer instead because the Dior Face and Body I've heard is like thinner, but I still think it's going to be more like what I'm wearing today. Let's not do the eyelash curler. I can get a more affordable one that isn't $25. And I don't need the Yummy Skin because it's going to start getting humid here, which will eliminate the need for that. I should be good with just my skincare and the e.l.f. primer. The tentative list is 2 items are gifts, so that's part of this. My 2 Smashbox complexion items, which, if I'm being honest, I don't even need the Hydra foundation right now because I have a couple other things I want to finish up. So let's take that off in favor for, I know I'm going to be living in the tinted moisturizer for right now. So that's another thing off the list. So the Tom Ford lip gloss is an absolute yes. The Smashbox tinted moisturizer, absolute yes. Then I have the Smashbox Becca Under Eye Corrector, which is a gift for my mom. The Patrick Ta Cream Powder Blush, yes. Soy Fresh Cleanser, gift for my mom. A Rare Beauty highlighter if I can get it. The Rare Beauty Replacement Mascara. The NARS Soft Matte Concealer for my little spots. The Rare Beauty Warm Wishes Bronzer Stick. And the House Labs Lip Oil if I can get it. And then my little birthday gift, which is online only. It is the Nest birthday set. So that is a decent little haul. Some replacement items. Like the tinted moisturizer is replacing the MAC Face and Body something or other. The color was not right, and I have an issue with like MAC complexion products never working for me, like color wise. So when I saw Smashbox was just better rated and had a color that would work better, I'm replacing that with this, which was my most used like summer complexion product. So that's a replacement. That's the only thing that's a replacement. 2 things are gifts. So I'm not going to count that towards myself. And then 2 items I might not even be able to get, which is like before sale prices, like there's $50 of stuff that might not even work. Well, that's all I have. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for helping me through the screen make decisions on what is important and what is not. That cart also gives me room for, like I said, if I get in there and change my mind about something or see something in person that maybe I didn't notice on the site that's just really catching my eye. I don't know. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Let me know if you're picking anything up from the sale. Let me know your thoughts on like this weird stuff that's happening with brands, as like one's acting a fool, the other one's good, and then they just keep switching places. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Are you just fed up and you just shop with who has what? Let me know. And with that, I will see you guys next time.